Okay, so I had to order the timing mark piece because this timing cover didn't come with one, and I never even thought about it until I got to looking at it, and I was like, well, how in the heck am I going to set the timing? So anyways, just wanted to get that installed. Alright, I'm out. Okay, so what I'm working on now is the tunnel area. Someone, if you look further back in the videos, I'm sure you'll catch it somewhere, where someone had hammered this in, I think probably trying to get clearance or something to get a bolt out or something, who knows. But anyways, it was all beat up here, so I just been hammering it, trying to get it pushed back out. And then there's just like, I don't know if you can see, like little nicks in the frame rail, little dents here and there on this side here, and then your cross member, and it's got a few places here, little here, here, and then same thing over here on this one. It's got some little gouges and stuff in it here and there. So I'm going to put some of the scuff it up and put a little bit of the long hair or short hair fiberglass filler on it and kind of straighten them areas out. Like here, it looks like someone took a hammer to it. Hell, I don't know. Same thing on the other side. But I'm on the inside of the car and I'm knocking dents this way. So like this one here, I'm going to knock this way, and then that'd be the less filler that I'd have to use to kind of straighten up them little dings and dents. There's no way to get to the back side of this, so I'm just going to scuff it real good with maybe like a 40 or something. Kind of hammer it a little bit flatter here. So anyways, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just fixing uglies on the bottom here, there, a few across here. It ain't too bad, but there's a few places on the bottom here that I'd like to address and clean up before I shoot slick sand primer on the bottom. And then once I get the slick sand on the bottom, I'll be able to do a quick sand down of the whole bottom. I probably won't put it on the whole bottom, maybe just these areas that I'm going to be doing body work on. Just probably put it on those areas. I don't see having to do the whole bottom, because the whole bottom's not that bad. But it just, when you get paint on it, all that stuff's going to stand out. All them little dings and dents here, they'll all stand out. So I'm going to try to get them all straightened out. Big ding right here in the frame rail. Same thing over here. I did notice that I'm going to have to address. So I will be cutting that out and welding a patch in it. But other than that, there's the places that I welded in here. on the wheel wells, like to the bracket right here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's kind of a couple pinholes here or there where I welded it. So I'll be smearing a little Bondo on that. Same thing here. A couple little pinholes. Excuse me. So like I was saying, just straightening it all up, getting it cleaned up, spreading a little Bondo here and there, and we'll spread some short hair fiberglass in some spots. I did been smearing some up in here where there was a couple repairs that I had made. Same thing. There was a little dip there. I didn't like that, so I hammered it out as much as I could. Spread some Bondo on it. Some pinholes here. Bondo. There was a kind of a funky rust spot here. It's all been cleaned up and sandblasted and grinded down. And spread some Bondo on that. A couple small pinholes up in here from welding. Here. Here. Small dent here that I was able to get in here and hammer out for the most part, but didn't have enough room really to do anything. I probably could have put the dent puller on it, weld on a tab and pulled it out further, but I think it's going to be fine. So just kind of fine tuning everything now so that I can paint the engine bay, the cowl section, the core support, front and rear, the frame rails, the inner fenders areas, and then the bottom of the car. I want to try to get it all in paint so that I can put the rear end under it, the K-frame back under it, after I repair it and paint it, of course. Anyways, if you look further back on my videos, I've been saying this all along. So repeat and repeat. Started painting this, ran out, so I got some more paint on the way. So that's why I was saying I'm going to be painting parts and doing this. I had decided, because this is just a rattle can paint, I think I'm going to clear coat all of it, because I've rattle canned stuff before on the front of this car and the silver or whatever, and I've had to go back and touch it up because water gets to it and it'll start rusting again. So I think with the clear coat over it, it'll protect it better and keep it from re-rusting. So, all right. I'm gonna go hammer some more dents later. Alright. So, like I said, knocked all those dents out. So I'll just put a thin coat on it, smooth it back out. Same thing here. I was able to get to the back sides of them. I wasn't sure if I could, but I was able to get to the back side. So, straighten them out. There's some other dents here, there, here, and same thing on that side. So, alright, I was able to hammer all them out about flat as you can get them. So now I gotta wait to get the short hair fiberglass filler. That way I can smear some on this bottom and fix these little goofy dent spots on here, and the way paint looks good on the bottom. Alright, later. Okay, for today, I'm going to work on getting the rest of this disassembled. So basically just taking off the sway bar, removing the lower control arms, strut rods. Just kind of get it all taken apart, and if I have time, then I'm probably going to start seeing about doing the repairs on those two sections. Just kind of try to get the K-frame cleaned up, repaired where I could put it in paint, and then start putting some of these parts in paint, because this is something that's got to be done. I mean, it's not going to go away. I ordered new upper control arm bushings and the lower control arm bushings. Other than that, I have not ordered any other front end parts. I will eventually be replacing the majority of the front end parts, like the tie rod ends, of course, and ball joints if necessary. I don't know if it's necessary. I might just be able to get new boots for them. I mean, because they wasn't bad before I started taking this car apart, because I was driving this car every once in a while. But, alright, I'll get back with you on it. Alright, and just like that, right tool for the right job. A little bit of the Ugly and some wrenches, and the lower control arms are off, sway bar, strut rods. I do have these stiffening plates that I'll be welding to the bottom here, and I see that the lower ball joint is the screw-in type. I've been wondering about that. I didn't know if they were press or screw. And the upper is also a screw-in type. I don't know if the socket that I built for it will fit, but I'll get ready to find out. So I made this socket a long time ago. Just kind of welded it across there, and it seems to do the job. But let's see if she fits. I think I did this on I bought this for, made it for Pearl when I did Pearl, and it should do it. Is it the same on the upper? Yeah. So I got a homemade socket for getting them off, because I didn't want to wait for shipping to get one here, so I went up and bought a socket and just welded it and made my own to get these ball joints out. Alright, just want to show you there that I got this thing apart, and it needs quite a bit of work in the welding department, that is. So I got to repair this, this, so that's gonna take a little bit of time. And this side also needs to be repaired, but the sandblaster wasn't able to get everything out apparently. We got some big chunks up in there. I'll have to work on getting that stuff out of there, because that's just grease and dirt, and it just soaks up moisture and then they just sit there. And then on the bottom of this, hold on, let me flip it. Alright, so on the bottom, as you can see, it's got some pretty substantial damage on it. Looks like this piece here is almost broke off. Looks like they tried to weld it back before. Yeah, the old K-frame has seen better days, but it's a big block K-frame. It's like that probably broke off at one point and they stitched it back on there, or it had a crack in it, one or another. Alright, so that's where I'm at with that. There's a lot of repairs to be done on this K-frame to get it back usable. You see that the old control arm bushing was going bad, and it was allowing it to hit up here on the K-frame, the control arm. So, alright, got my work cut out for me on this one. Let me see if I can't get it to straighten out and look a little better here, and make it where it's safe and not going to fall apart. Later. So another deal going on with this K-frame. I'll show you here. One is that's all dented to crap there, so I'll have to try to straighten it up as good as I can. The tubes that go for your lower control arm, so it's kind of cracked around there. Didn't penetrate all the way around, but I'm going to clean all that up and re-weld all that. Same way with that. But look at this. This sucker ain't even on there. But not even welded to it. So that's something else that has to be addressed. Hold on, let me get it back in there. Fun, guys, fun. I think that's just dirt. I don't think that's even a weld, is it? No, that's just dirt. Dirt and grease. So this is quite a bit more cleaning up, welding, patching, straightening that has to be done to this thing. It's tore up from the floor up. Alright, later. Okay, so I don't know if it's going to be the right way to do this, but I think it's got to be done. I went ahead and been prying on that crack here where it was smashed down in there. and got it back up pretty straight here. But I'm thinking my better bet is going to be to actually open it up quite a bit more along this seam, where I can kind of, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but see how far down that is dented in there? It's dented in pretty good. But I think I'm going to just cut it across the seam more. Well, it actually ain't a seam. Excuse me for saying that, because this is the seam down here. That is actually supposed to be one complete piece across there. But it looks like maybe they dragged this car on its bottom or something. Heck, I don't know. Jumped something. Dukes hazarded it. I don't know. Remember the torque box over on that other side was jagged and tore up? That might be part of this. Shit, they might have ran this car over some curbs or something. I don't know what happened to it, but this K-frame has got to be straightened out. I'm not going to keep it that way. So I'm thinking to go ahead and open it up more across here, where I can get in there and push all this back up all the way across, grind off that big old nasty booger weld repair that they tried to do, and get it all pushed back up, straightened back out, and then just re-weld this seam across here. I don't think it's going to hurt anything, but it's going to make it look a lot better, that's for sure. Alright. Alright. So this is after opening it up along that edge right there. You see, I'm starting to get it to pop back out where it needs to be. It's going to take a little bit of work here, but I think the end result is going to be a lot nicer than just leaving it the way it was. For this big crease right here, what I'm hoping is with my, I don't know, punch or whatever you want to call it, there's another hole up front here that I should be able to flip this over and lay it on the floor and maybe hammer that pin out. But I'm going to cut this booger off of here because this area here is knocked down too, and I want to push it back up also. Alright, I'll get back with you on this repair. Man, it was a lot worse than I thought it was, but it's got to be done, because I won't never be able to put it up underneath the car the way it is. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, progress report. Getting most of the dent out. This one here is being stubborn. I went ahead and grinded off that ugly old weld that was on there. And I'm wondering, I might have to heat this up and then get it to press out of there. But that's where I'm at with it. And then once I get it all flattened out as much as possible, then I will bend this lip back up, start putting all this back together across here, and then I'll do a weld across here to clean it all up and grind it all down, grind out all those scratches from, I don't know, like I said, dragging it across the ground or whatever. But I got this dent to knock out. This where they've been hooking chains at over the years, probably. That's probably what tore that up. But hook a chain, or straighten that out. Dent here. So this is all wavy. You can see it. Alright. Be back with you. So here's a progress report. That dirt grease coming out of the K-frame here from hammering on it and heating it up and scraping it in there with the screwdriver and taking the pry bars and bending all this section back up. I did go ahead and tore these down a little bit further, the knuckles and the ball joint part that goes to the ball joint of the lower cone. Anyways, yeah, I just tore them down a little bit further because I'm going to search for boots first and see if I can get some new rubber boots to put on these lower ones because they're in good shape still. The top ones, same thing. If I can't find boots for them, then I'll just order new ball joints and screw the old ones out and put new ones in. I do still need to put the braces on the bottom of these, and I figured while I got my welder out tackling that, I'll weld those or tack them onto the bottom of that too. But anyways, I got that up for the most part. This area here, it's a whole lot straighter than it was. Straighten this area out, you can see. So now what I'm going to do is I'll start welding across and then I'll hammer it closer as I go until I got it all welded back together there. And I'll go ahead and scratch this up right here and then put another bead right there too. But it's coming slowly but surely. I did pull the dents out of that section, and that section for the most part got a little bit more hammering to do, but I want to get them attached before I go tweaking on them anymore than I am now. As you can see, that's a lot closer. They ain't gonna have to have a big old thick booger weld in there to put it together like they had before. Alright, progress. I'm out. I'm gonna go get something to eat, clean up my hands. Alright, bye. Alright, so this is where I'm at with it. I got that rear seam put back together. Most of the dents are out of it. It's still got a few, but I'll take care of that with some long hair fiberglass on there. Reattached that piece. Went ahead and ground that down and reattached that. That was cracked after all the bending and stuff I done on it, so I just put some ugly old booger welds on there. And then that piece, welded it all the way around, where before it only had a small area that was welded. Same thing on that side. Went ahead and just welded it all the way around. And now I'm working on this. So this is still located where it belongs, that oval egg shape there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the bottom section here. Cut out the bottom and then replace the bottom. And then I'll have a place to draw on here so I know where to cut it out again. Not so lucky on that side, but what I'll do is I'll just take a pattern off of this and transfer it to that side when I get there. But alright, a lot of work on this old freaking K-frame here, but I'll get it straightened out. Alright, be back. Alright, so this is as far as I made it. Getting that stuff taken apart. I got this bottom section cut out, and then once I put this section in, I'll draw it from the other side and then cut out the oval piece, and then I'll replace that piece on that side. And the same thing, just cut it out, template, and then I will make a template off of this and transfer it to that side. That should be it. I should do it. But yeah, I'm done. Tired, wore out. Been on this thing for quite a while today. But anyway, this is something that has to be done. So that's where I'm at. Working on getting this shit straightened. Oh, there I went and cussed again. Stuff straightened out. And I'll get back with you on that. Really shut it all down. One of the main reasons I'm quitting is because this, I measured it as like a 16th. And all I have is this 18 gauge. So I'm gonna have to go to Metal by the Foot and get another sheet of, I don't know, probably go 16. That way I know it's thick enough and it should hold up better. But alright. Oh yeah, this thing will probably have 10 times better steering now that I got these things welded in correctly, and they're not going to be moving around during changing your alignment while you're going down the road. But I'd say just, you know, being a big block car, it's probably a lot more weight up there. Well, you know, enough weight to start causing damage, I'm sure. Plus hitting bump stops and not having good shocks on it and stuff like that. It probably tears it all up. But alright, get out of here. Use my needing some 16 gauge metal as an excuse to buzz out. I'm out. Alright, went and got me some 16 gauge. And got the first piece in here. So this is what I'm up today. I'm back after this K-frame. I want to get it knocked out and all welded up, straightened up, and probably shoot a little bit more epoxy primer back on it after cleaning it up, putting it back over on its dolly, and waiting for the black paint to show up. And that's where I'm at with it. Get it all straightened up and ready to go. Fun. Okay, been at this for a little while today. This is what I've gotten so far. Got this side welded in. Had to do the tops and the bottoms because it's 2 pieces. So complete bottom, both sides, and then I cut the hole for this side. And what I'm doing now is I made a template of that, where the hole needs to go. This was actually broke off from here, or cut off from here. That might be what they did. They cut it off and probably bent this up out of the way so they could weld in the inside where that crack was. But I went ahead and reattached the new piece across here. And then also they had like one tack weld, spot weld here, and I went ahead and just put 4 spot welds and flattened it out there. I got one of the old bushings here, and that's what I come up with the old bushing. So I think we're pretty good there. It don't look oval, but it is. It's old. So now, kind of the same thing here. It had a rust hole that went across the back place right here. So I'm going to make another piece to go in here and bend up where it reconnects here. And then I'll do the same thing and put some plug welds, 4 plug welds in there. Once I got that piece on there, see, I got this set up where this will be the location spot for the new hole. Alright, get back with you. This ain't been a headache, but I'm coming down to the end of it now on the fab part. And once I get the fab part done, I'll be able to clean it up and then shoot some more epoxy primer on it. Alright, be back. Alright, there's this second level here. Get her welded in there, and then put my template on there and get my hole drilled for the bushing, and then I will have to repair that hole over here on the side. And I think I'm pretty much there on the fab. If that's a crack, I'll go ahead and grind down it and weld it too. But I'd hate to have that sucker come apart. Alright. Alright, and there's my template from the other side. Get that drawn on there. It's kind of up right here, so I'll probably have to hammer that down a little bit. Which ain't no big deal. I want to do that before I weld this in. That way it can pull it that way a little bit. It ain't going to hurt nothing. Alright, get back with you. Alright. And this is the kit I got. Energy suspension for the bushings for the K-frame. So the urethane, it came with all the washers and everything. Inserts for down the center for the bolt to come through. But wanted to make sure that they're going to fit on there, and that's what I come up with. So I think we're good. Alright, just test fitting, making sure this thing's going to work. They're pretty tight in there, so I think we're good. I'll know when I go to bolt it on there. But anyways, I'm pretty sure we got it. I need to weld this plate down, repair that hole on the side of here, and then moving on. Alright. And that's that. I got some hours tied up in this K-frame here. Yeah, probably about 10 hours or so. But there's those ends repaired, both sides. Them are welded all the way around, like I was telling you. And then, of course, the repair of this bottom here, knocking it out and welding that edge back shut. Straightening all of that area out. So what I did is I just straightened it all out as good as I could get it. And once I got it straightened out, I took my grinder along this edge here to make it straight and nice, where they've already hooked chains and stuff to it over the years, dragging the car around. But straightened them out, making the cape frame look decent, where if they climb underneath of it at a car show, they'll be able to see that I took the time to make it look nice, even though it was pretty damaged. So that's that. I still need to grind those plug welds down on that side. But other than that, it's almost ready to shoot a little bit more epoxy back on it. Let me get it on here, spin it around. Another thing I did was on these openings right here on both sides, they had hooked a chain to this side, and I got in here with the hammer and a dolly and hammered it back as flat as I could get it. But like before, there's a little gouge in the metal, so I just took my die grinder and just kind of went around the edge of it there and made it nice again on both sides. But was it necessary? Probably not. But I know what I got in it, and I'm happy that it's done. Now I just need to clean it all back up, epoxy it on the ball-headed spots, and put some black paint on it. But one more thing down, and I did test fit the bushings. Well, the last video that I done to show you that, and the bushings do fit in there nice and snug. Alright, K-frame done. I did order upper ball joints because they're kind of a little loose. I'll probably just go ahead and end up doing the bottoms anyways, just to be safe. So upper and lower ball joints, and then I got new bushings for the lower control arms and new bushings for the upper control arms. So moving on, I got to weld those stiffening plates onto the bottom of the control arms, and order some new bump stops for the bump stops. Where do they go? Do they go on there? Yeah, I believe they go on there on the control arms, because they hit here where they hit. So I need to order new bump stops for them. And then we got bushings for this, but I need to see how thick that sway bar is. I don't know, but they got two different sets. I don't want to make sure I get the right set, but new bushings for that, bushings for the upper and lower control arms, new ball joints, and then I'll be doing new tie rod ends. The sleeves are fine. That pitman arm, it actually looks like idler arm, and the pitman arm, they're in good condition. I'm not going to mess with them. Just paint them and be done with them. Alright, that's where I'm at. Like I said, I want to get all this suspension work done, cleaned up, ready to go. And then the long hair fiberglass is supposed to be here tomorrow, and I'm going to work a little bit in here, that side, here in this spot, and a little bit across here. But other than that, I do have this one repair to do here. And once I get all that done, I'm almost ready for some paint. Getting real close. I know I've been saying it for a while. Well, not really a while, because I did take about a month and a half off, but I've been on the car for 8 months, and I think I've come a long ways in 8 months. Alright, that was fun. I'm filthy. I'm gonna go take a shower and clean all this welding dust and all this other crap off of me. Close the door. Night night. Alright. So, brought this out. I scraped all the dirt and grease and stuff that was trapped up in these pockets that he didn't get to with the sandblaster. And I took and degreased it with the engine degreaser, and I washed it off after that with the hose. Then I went back over it with some brake clean, cleaned all that off, and then let that dry off, and I came back out with some wash solvent and wiped it all off again. And I'm spraying some epoxy on it now, getting it all coated again after doing all that welding and hammering and prying and all the stuff I had to do to this thing to make it look halfway decent. Little fuzzies here from my the carpeting on my little roll around furniture mover that I got it set on. I'll clean all that off before I put any paint on it. But just getting down in these areas right here is kind of a pain in the butt, and down in there. I gotta wait for it to dry like this, then I'm gonna flip it over and then see if there's any spots that I may have missed. But should have some black paint coming. It's supposed to be here today, and then I'll get this thing in black and let it all dry up and put it aside as one of the done projects for this car. Alright. Okay. So I got some paint in, and I got some of the fiberglass or short strand fiberglass in, and been smearing a little bit here and there, and then I got the K-frame all painted, kind of letting it set and dry before I go to putting it back on its little dolly. I have to clean the dolly off before I go putting it back on there. And then there's probably a couple little spots that I need to hit that couldn't see, but we'll get it done. And then I got all the parts ordered for the front end rebuild. I think I have new bearings that I ordered years ago, so I won't have to do that. I got them in my shop over there. But went ahead and just did new ball joints, uppers and lowers. I already got the uppers in, and just waiting on the lowers. And then also got new bushings for the sway bar, and new bushings for here. The strut rods, that's got new bushings coming for it too. Alright, so I'm going to hang out here for a while. Probably do some sanding on this stuff, because I put it on here yesterday, so it should be good and cured. One thing about it is you watch videos of these guys doing the Bondo work and smoothing it on there and everything, and I don't know, man. I just can't never get it to go on that smooth. I think they're faking it or something. I think they're pulling it out of the can and not putting any hardener on it and just smearing it on for the video and then scraping it back off. I don't know. You tell me. But I just, you see, I mean, I can't get it that smooth. I tried. I even tried thinning it out a little bit, and still, no matter what, I cannot get that stuff to smear like they show on the videos. Alright, I'm out. Alright, so that's my first round of short strand fiberglass. Got a couple little pinholes here that I'll mix up some lightweight filler and kind of smooth in there. And then I'll be able to just do that by hand. Same way here. Little low spot, another little low spot. But overall, we got rid of a lot of those gouges. So I think it looks better. Still have a super low spot here, so I'm going to smear some more on here. And I did notice this was dented in here, so I'm going to do this area also. Up here, another little low spot right there. A little bit of low right there, which I think is just a matter of a little bit of the lightweight filler. Straightening these areas out. This turned out pretty good. A couple little low spots here that I'll probably put a little bit more on. Same thing up there. But first round, that turned out pretty good. Probably hand sand this a little bit more, kind of just smooth it out. But alright, that's where I'm at with it. Just kind of making this bottom look a little bit better before I go and decide to put any paint on down here. I'll get back with you. Okay, disregard my last video of knowing not how to smear this stuff down smoothly. These plastic things, I don't know, you can see how it's shaped. That's why I'm not being able to get it done. Changed over to the metal blades and it seems to work better, in my opinion. It actually goes on a little smoother. But anyways, I forgot about these places back here where I think it's where we're setting jack stands or something like that, because it was dented in the same place on both sides. So went ahead and smeared some stuff on those two dents. Alright, second layer. I'm gonna go let this stuff dry, come back out later. Night night. Okay, little forensic investigating going on here, and starting to wonder if when this thing was in the wreck that took out the quarter panel, gouged a hole in the torque box area and the hole in the frame. I wonder if all that was from the same wreck. The damage that was on the K-frame. It's almost like, I don't know, like it lost a wheel or something happened at high speed where this drug the ground, ripped a hole in that, put the big dent inside of this, and then when I was doing these just now, it must have took out the A-arm too, because I got screw-in type, screw-in type, screw-in type ball joint, and a press-in type. So I don't think this belongs to this car. It's got a 4031 on it, and this one's got a 294 on it. I don't know, kind of confusing, but luckily I ordered 2 screw-in ball joints for the lowers, but I do have a press-in one that I've already owned. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go back with it. I'm not going to try to find another A-arm that's got the screw-in type. I don't know. It's kind of weird. If I was to do both press-in type, then I got another control arm off that 70, that other car I got. That I think it was a 74. So I can do 2 press-in types. Yeah, I'm not sure what I want to do here. Because if I do the other press-in type, it will be happen to be sandblasted, because it's pretty gnarly. So And then that one's tore up. And I think this was a passenger here. Yeah. So this is a passenger side. And then this is a driver's. Which one is broke? Or which one is pressing on and which one's not. So that would be a driver. And that would be the passenger. Am I right? Let's see. Driver's side. Passenger side. So the passenger side is press in. So I would need a driver's side press in. Let's see if this one is a driver's side that's in good condition. Passengers. Hold on a minute. Okay. So that would probably work. So this is a press-in style. Okay, it might be what I do because I already own that. And if I was to do another screw-in style, I would have to find someone that's got one and buy it from them. But being as I already got this, I own this press-in style, I'll clean it up, sandblast it, and use that one. I think that's going to be the better bet. That way, you know, future, someone orders ball joints for it and they get it home and they're like, oh man, one's screw and one's press in, and then they have to take it back and do this, do that. So, alright, now I got to remove that control arm from this setup here. Alright. Oh, excuse me. Alright, so we're on round 3 of the plastic filler. Doing a little touch up here and there. That one is pretty much done. Just had a little on the edge there. Had to build this one up a little higher. It was still a little low here in the center. Same thing there. But I think I'm up there now where I need to be. We'll see when I put a block on it. But yep. Got that one looking nice. This one's looking nice. Saw another little dent there. Went ahead and smeared some goo on it. One of my plug welds had a little, I don't know what you would call it, like a seam in it. Similar to, what was it at? Oh, similar to that. So smeared a little bit in that one and that one. Got that one looking nice. But then I got the K-frame back over on its dolly, and then I went and got greasy. So I can't touch the car no more because I got taking that thing off, because that's got the press-in bushing. And like I said, I already have a set of the press-in ones. So that's that. I got to sandblast this thing, get it cleaned up, shoot some epoxy on it. I'll do that whenever I'm putting the epoxy back on this thing. I'll shoot some epoxy on that at the same time. Yeah, so next thing I need to start doing, after cleaning this up and sandblasting it, I need to press the bushings out themselves, not the metal sleeves, but just the rubber part needs to be pushed out, because them urethane ones, they don't come with sleeves, you have to press them into your old sleeves, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm going to be doing, getting on the old press and pressing them out, both of those, and I gotta press them uppers out. But the thing is, like I said, you can't press the shells out. You can only press the rubber part out, and then you use the shells for the new polyurethane bushings to press in. So that's where I'm at with that. Try to get this, as soon as the parts come in, I should have all this blasted and primered and ready to put some bushings on it. Need to take the sway bar and put it in paint. Go ahead and take all the brackets off of it and put it in paint. That way when the parts bushings for that get here, I should be able to basically just start assembling everything back onto the K-frame is the plan. That way I have a complete K-frame with all the suspension connected, the power steering will be reconnected, the cross link and tie rod ends and everything. So it'll be a complete unit, if that makes sense. Alright, that's where I'm at with it. Hands are greasy, so I can't go sanding on this right now. I'll just jack with it tomorrow. It's already getting late anyways. Later. Okay, so got all the dents and scratches that were on the frame rails and the cross member here. All the little, well, there's a good sized dent there and there. I got all the dents straightened out and all the little scratch spots that were on the frame rail up front. And these areas where the footwell drop-offs were, they was pretty beat up. That area there that had some dents in it, a couple small spots. The dented areas back here on the frame rails that had from, I don't know, probably from jack stands or something, I don't know. But there was one on each side. I'm going to guess jack stand. And then that area there, all done. So I'm just going to clean it up and get it ready to shoot some more epoxy back on the ball-headed spots. And then today I'm going to clean that thing up, get it sandblasted, and maybe attempt to press all the old bushings out. But alright, get back with you. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, after saying I was gonna get something done today, I went and got lazy. But no, for real, my grandkids come over, so been hanging out with them and kind of put this stuff off until they started calming down. And so I did come back out. Excuse me, thirsty, and went ahead and pressed all the old bushings out and cleaned everything up. I went ahead and sandblasted right there where the strut rod bolts on because they were connected when the other guy sandblasted it, so it was still a little rusty right there. So I went ahead and did that, and this one here was filthy. It was greasy, rusty, grimy, but it took a while for me to get that one cleaned up, but I got it all cleaned up in bare metal. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and weld the plates on, the stiffening plates, and then after I get the stiffening plates welded on, I'll shoot some more epoxy on that one and some more on that one. But anyways, I'll come back out tomorrow and weld those on. Let's see. I'll have to sand them a little bit because they already started rusting sitting in here. I'll put some weld through primer on them. But yeah, once it hits the ground, boy, it's hard to pick up. There we go. So yeah, come back out tomorrow and weld those stiffening plates on the bottom. Won't take too long. And then I can hang them up over here on my little hooks. Shoot some epoxy on them. Shoot some epoxy on my ball-headed spots. And that's another step moving forward. Once I get the epoxy on, I'll go ahead and press the ball joints back in, and maybe work on the A-arms tomorrow, see if I can't get those mounting brackets pushed out without destroying the sleeves. That's gonna be fun, but I think I can get it done. We'll see what happens. But okay, this suspension shit sucks. Oh, there I go cussing again, sorry. But this suspension stuff sucks because it's always greasy and dirty and grimy. But I'm coming down to the end of it now where it'll all be clean. Like this car, you know, like when I get up under this thing to work on it, I don't mind at all because it's clean underneath. It's nice. Like Pearl was clean underneath after I laid under there and scraped on it for a week, and put rock guard under it. Color-coded rock guard, the color of the car. But anyways, yeah, once they're clean, they're clean. Then it's a kind of not of a burden to get underneath them and work on them when they're nice like that. You know, K-frame, no grease on it or anything. It's gonna be nice. All right, I was slacker today, but I did get something done. All right, I'm out. Okay, so this video jumped all over the place, and that's just kind of the way it goes. You guys remember, well, you'll remember from this video. I don't know what I'm saying. But anyways, K-frame pretty much done in paint. Got that one all cleaned up, and then went ahead and welded on the stiffening plates to help with the stiffening of the lower control arms. Still waiting on bushings to come in. As soon as they come in, I'll be able to put all these together, and I'm going to paint it all. I picked up a couple more cans because I don't know how much of it I'm going to be using, because I'm doing something different. Instead of just doing a regular silver paint or something like that, well, you guys remember on that, it's kind of like a destroyer gray or something like that. And that's what I'm going to do for the theme of the underneath suspension parts, is destroyer gray on that. And this is kind of the color I went with. Once I get it all in this gloss smoke gray, then I will clear coat over the suspension parts so that they just don't get all scratched up and beat up. But anyways, that's the theme I'm going with. Like I said, instead of silver, the transmission cross member, that'll be black. The torsion bar cross member, it'll be black. Yeah, we live on a drag strip. But anyways, upper control arms will be this gray, smoke gray. Lower control arms, smoke gray. The strut rods, the knuckles, pretty much all the suspension parts are going to be that gray color. These plates will be black. But anyway, so I did all that, you keep seeing in the video. And then I come around here and I've been doing a little extra spreading Bondo and straightening stuff out. And then I remember this here wasn't attached anymore. The radiator bracket bolt. So I went ahead and I got that reattached. I just need to clean it up a little bit. And then I'm still working on this area right here. It had a little bit of a dent here and then a couple small ones. But getting that straightened out. Got all this done. Had a pinhole here, a dent here, a dent here. A couple pinholes on the other side. Got all them taken care of. Still working this area here a little bit. So I want to get this area and this area, all these taken care of. The welded in spot, and then the areas up front here. We'll get them all taken care of. Smeared a little bit here and a little bit there, where them are holes that I repaired that someone had drilled in this that didn't belong there. Mounting different radiators in there and stuff like that. But anyways, got that all taken care of. Got a couple more spots on the engine bay to get cleaned up. I'm done here. I'm done on the frame rails all the way here. I did have another dent here that I was able to knock out, which was good. Then I had another dent here. I knocked it most of the way out. I just took very little filler on it. So anyways, the bottom's starting to come together here, and I'm real close to just shooting a little bit of primer back on the ball headed spots, and then getting my pinholes and stuff up in there. But this up here doesn't have to be perfect by no means, because I will be putting a rock guard under there, and it's textured, so you won't see any of that once it's on. But as soon as I get this stuff all back in primer, that's my next step, is to flip it all the way over on its top, tape off the frame area here, and start rock guarding that area and that area, and then both the wheel wells, I want to get them in rock guard. And then I should be ready to shoot some paint on the bottom of this thing finally. The main problem is we've been having 104, 108. Today was 108 heat index, but we've been having these super hot temperatures, and you can't, that I know of, you can't shoot primer or anything else in that type of heat, especially paint. So hot in here that it was dry before it got to the panel. But let's see, it is 9:30 at night, and we're still at 92 degrees in here. So all that rambling on, the conclusion I come to is for me to shoot the primer on. I'm going to have to come out early in the morning and get it done early in the morning. So that's where I'm at with it. I'll probably come out early in the morning and get this piece knocked out, get that knocked out, this area cleaned back up, and get all these last 3 or 4 spots knocked out and straightened up, where I could go ahead and shoot the epoxy on these 2 pieces, and then on my ball headed spots underneath here. Another step, you'll probably get to see the conclusion of all this next week on next week's video. It's Friday night, so I'm out of time on this video. Alright, later.